45 minutes before.
The lights were on and the car was running.
Cynthia?
What's up, guys?
And the windshield.
John 33 Mall, Maiko HZ in my parents' basement. Tio Tavo, what's up? What's up?
We just thought that was kind of strange. Why would she leave her car just sitting there running? None of it made any sense at all.
How's everybody doing today?
They come to mind.
Welcome, welcome.
3 years later, after a long stint in patrol, Sergeant Joe Kenda has recently returned to homicide. But this time, not as a detective.
I returned to homicide as a supervisor.
Hey, Pluto, what's up, Chris Ree?
As the boss.
Tio Tavo.
A few things ago, what you
Welcome in, guys. How you doing?
Thanks. So I began
Gary Comics, welcome in.
cases and unsolved homicide cases to determine if there was any possibility they could now be resolved.
Hey, Beverly, I need to schedule a meeting. Can you contact everyone in the field and have your phone from my show? Thanks. Bye.
Ventures into Fear, issue 16.
All right, gentlemen, listen up. You guys have done one hell of a job. This year, I think we can do a little bit better.
Sticky Green Leah.
We welcomed his
Welcome.
smart, well-educated.
It wasn't me. Welcome, 93.
Let's go through. Question is, which one to look at? Now, I've got a few thoughts, but I want to hear your ideas.
With my team of homicide detectives, I wanted some unit cohesion, and I was interested in what they.
Stony Ace, welcome to the show. How you doing?
How about you, Lou? Any ideas?
Detective Lou slipped in an instant for it, unlike any other.
Well, I didn't work it, but how about Cynthia McClure? She went missing in 82.
The Cynthia McLuhan case is one we all really wanted to solve.
All right, let's look at the case file.
Though none of Kenda's detectives personally worked the case, they know enough to bring them up to speed.
Cynthia McClure.
Snap Tap Comics, hey, how you doing? Welcome in.
Workers found her abandoned vehicle in the parking lot where she worked. No evidence in the car and no witnesses. Okay, then. Who they talked to first? The family.
Detectives went to the home of Cynthia's mom.
Oh, thank you.
Well, which is where Cynthia's living with her daughter, Stacy. And Cynthia's friend, Mary, is there also.
Look, I know this is all very, very shocking, but I need to know more about your daughter if we can find her.
Well, Cynthia and Stacy moved in with me recently because money's been a little tight. Cynthia works 2 jobs and I help out and watch Stacy.
Is she aware of what's going on?
No, not really. She keeps asking for her mama, but I don't know what to say. I keep telling her she'll be home soon.
Cynthia did everything she did for her girl, for her daughter. Her relationship with her daughter was something that was never separable.
What we need to find out is if there was anyone in Cynthia's life that would want to harm her.
The next step would be to determine who does Cynthia associate with. People don't get abducted generally by a stranger.
I don't know.
It was a total mystery. I mean, no idea what had happened. Cynthia really did not have enemies. Can't say that there was really anybody that disliked her.
What about Stacy's father? Where is he?
He and Cynthia were married for a short time, but things didn't work out.
They're curious about someone that had a motive to do harm, and the first and obvious choice is the ex-husband.
But he lives in Arizona.
Here is Amazing Spider-Man 117.
Doing anything like that.
They talked to him on the phone. He is in Arizona, and he provides an alibi the day she goes missing. He's not part of this.
How about avoid that?
Barry D, welcome in. Buck out. RD, what's up? DJ Impact.
Winfield, Dave Winfield.
And of course,
Edward MCC, welcome in. How you doing?
see, did they end their relationship badly?
What do you know about Dave? Is there any issues with him?
I don't know of any issues during their relationship, but I know that Dave was pretty heartbroken when she did things.
Yeah, that's true.
Good job. What letter is this? No, you don't know? Yeah, sure you do. It's a J. I'll get it. Hello?
Hi, me. Listen, can we just talk? I love you. If we could just give it another try.
Dave, we've talked about this, okay?
Cynthia,
No,
you don't
Dave,
understand.
I'm sorry. I gotta go.
Please.
I would do anything to get her back.
There is concern on the mother's part that the ex-boyfriend might have tried to abduct her to try to force her into accepting their relationship and going back the way it was.
At that point, detectives focused their attention on 34-year-old Dave Winfield as Cynthia's possible abductor.
Detectives did some digging and found out that Dave secretly spent some time at the hide and seek.
At the time, the Hide and Seek Lounge was the largest homosexual bar between the Mississippi River and the West Coast.
Noah San, 12. How are you? Welcome in.
It's apparently like both on Adelaide. Sure you didn't want people to know about that.
In the modern day, homosexuality is universally accepted for the most part. In the 1980s, it was a secret world.
In Colorado Springs, having a gay affair was particularly scandalous. It could hurt you at your job. If you were in the military, you could be discharged. I mean, the ramifications were huge.
The speculation might have been that Cynthia somehow discovered this and Dave Winfield was now
What's up, Jay Fraud?
Information coming out.
Ochiotos, welcome, Superman Cock 7 Re.
Once Dave found out that we were asking around town about it, so to show up at the station. Okay. Did you have anything to do with the disappearance of Cynthia?
I care a lot for Cynthia. I'd never do anything to hurt her.
Did she have any issues with your little trips down to the hide and seek lounge?
How do you know about that?
Look, Mr. Winfield, we're not interested in your private life. We're just trying to figure out, perhaps, would that be a problem for Cynthia if she was aware of that?
No, okay? Cynthia never knew about that. Even if she did, she wouldn't tell anyone.
So it gives you an insight on Cynthia. She just seemed to be a nice, trustworthy woman.
Get an alibi? Yeah, it checked out.
So Winfield is out, no opportunity.
Okay, so what's next? Turns out that more evidence surfaced the night that Cynthia disappeared.
Just 2 hours after Cynthia McLuhan vanished from work, a sinister clue was discovered at a nearby motel.
Doing his nightly rounds, a security guard for one of the hotels
What the hell?
came across some clothing outside of one of the hotel rooms.
The clothing is just.
This one is a VG Plus.
And under the clothing is a purse. There are credit cards, there's some money. And it also contains Cynthia McLuhan's Colorado driver's license.
The motel had no record of Cynthia checking in, and when the items were turned in to police,
This one is a 6-0.
detectives.
Was the clothing hers?
They matched the description that she was last seen wearing when she left home.
But not all of her clothes have been accounted for. What do you mean? Her bra and panties were missing.
the clothing that's missing or intimate apparel. So it suggests there may have been some sexual involvement.
When there's evidence of abduction and sexual assault.
375. Ah, no, man. I had a couple of them, but I sold them. Maybe I could help you find some other issue. Whenever I get it, it always sells really fast.
When someone goes missing, the more time that passes by, the more difficult things become. You have no place to go and nowhere to find your victim until they are found by someone.
It was a bone-chilling afternoon, 42 days after Cynthia McLuhan disappeared from her workplace.
A 17-year-old named Robert Stockner was jogging through a cemetery in the west side of Colorado Springs.
As Robert went through Fairview Cemetery, he noticed he was odd. And in fact, as he got closer,
This is no longer a missing persons case. Somebody took her. We're investigating the disappearance of
The 300, there are three, they're variants. One is a foil variant, one is the Spawn 300, and the other one is a Dutch variant. They're not the original 300s,
the whiteness of the skin.
but they're pretty nice,
They were alive.
to say the least.
I responded to the cemetery.
The Dutch variant is very rare. They only printed about
She'd been stabbed numerous times.
6,000 or 7,000 copies of the Dutch variant.
Completely naked except for her shoes and her socks.
Definite signs of sexual assault.
Yeah, no doubt. There is rape. There is murder.
Her bra and panties are missing from the pile of clothes.
I do not have 316.
Himself.
I wish I did. I love that cover.
Killer takes one of the possessions of the victim as a trophy. It can be a source of pride when they remember that they were able to subdue another.
And Loco, what's up, Killikong?
Positioned up like that.
Ben Jangles, how are you? Welcome in.
Sitting down but bent forward, a very unnatural position. It's not one that would look comfortable. Out of all the homicides I've worked, I don't remember ever coming across a body position just this way.
Some sexual criminals will pose the remains and stand back and admire them for a period of time. It sounds profoundly sick because it is.
This guy didn't hold anything back, did he?
She had been stabbed 25 times.
13 for what?
Just the photos.
313.
Sweet. If the sexual assault happened in the cemetery.
Are you talking about the Todd McFarlane,
Blood trails.
the black costume homage cover of #1?
Cynthia's killer brought her there. The ghost, the shadow.
No, I don't have that one. Yeah, that's another one. Once I have it, it sells like immediately almost.
Forcibly puts her in his car, drives to the cemetery, raped her, and immediately killed her in the same spot. And then drove off with her clothing and dumped it in this hotel in the central downtown.
Canvas of the area turn up anything? Sort of. You came across a guy who said he saw a dark colored pickup truck leave the cemetery a few weeks before. So we looked throughout the neighborhood to see if we could find a similar pickup truck.
One of the people that we find who had owned that pickup truck,
Hey, Coma 43, welcome in.
he lived 2.5 blocks from the Fairview Cemetery.
This guy said he was at the cemetery, but he was there because of the great view at Pikes Peak. Sounds a little suspicious, but couldn't find anything that ties him to Cynthia.
There's nothing about him that alarms them. He has an explanation for his behavior.
Okay, then what? Okay, pretty cool.
They believed.
Not much. What's going on with you?
They hated her for whatever reason, but they could never determine that anybody she'd ever known hated her for any reason at all. So the case sort of dies.
After the investigation on finding Cynthia and still no leads, it just went on for a long time, several years of no information or nothing being said about it. Very, very difficult.
Okay, then. It's time to get this thing back up.
We all agree that Cynthia McClellan is an innocent victim. No doubt about it. That inspires us.
John Lou, I want you to take the lead on this one. Well, we work with Ricky.
This case had a lot of emotional appeal personally.
Hey, Cap Kylos, welcome in.
So the working theory of the case still remains that it's someone she knew. The reason that
Hype and Night Guy 689. How's it going?
they represent less than 5% of all murder.
First thing we need to do is re-interview the original witnesses and revisit the old leads. Starting with the guy with the dark truck. What's his name? Richie Hayden.
Time has a way of loosening tongues, and every experienced policeman knows it.
All right, let's go. I'm thinking we should start with this guy first because he's got a record a mile long, and we're looking for. Hey,
So Anderson is assigned a lead about Richie Hayden.
man, Richie Hayden had the sexual assault conviction. It's not all. Got his employment history. Take a guess at where he worked as a dishwasher in 1982. I'll be damned.
Lo and behold, what does he find? During the time of the crime, he worked at the motel where the clothing was discovered. You don't have to be a mathematician to know that 2 plus 2 equals 4. So, Mr. Hyde, we need to have an up close and personal with you.
This one is a VG/Fine copy.
We have reopened the Cynthia McClellan homicide as a cold case. During the course of that work, we have determined an individual who has some very interesting parts to
Hey, Lucario, what's up, Ancy? Hype and Night Guy, how are you?
Kenda and his team would like to speak with 30-year-old Richie Hayden, but he no longer lives by Fairview Cemetery. In fact, he's now on parole in Wyoming.
So you're saying I'm gonna have to send you to Wyoming? Maybe before we do that, we see if he's worth our time.
We knew from Cynthia's autopsy that when Cynthia was sexually assaulted, her killer left behind evidence of his own blood type. So we can compare that with the blood type of a potential suspect and eliminate certain people.
The next step in terms of this individual, Mr. Hyde, is to determine what is his blood type.
Why don't you check with the lab? We're going to find out. Sure.
So Detective Anderson makes a call to the laboratory and says, "What do you know about this guy? Tell me about his blood type." And they tell him that evidence has already been obtained because of count of sexual assault.
Sketch or make a fist.
And as it turns out, his blood type is different than that of the perpetrator of this crime. So despite his truck, despite his criminal record, despite his employment at the hotel, it's not him.
Without a suspect, Kenda and his team begin retracing old steps in hopes of sprouting a new lead.
One thing we wanted to do was to go back and talk to Cynthia's close friends at the time. One of those was Mary DeVito. She had been at Nancy's house, the mother's house.
Her and Cynthia were best friends.
I assumed that investigation was over.
Oh, man. Investigation continues until we find out who's responsible.
Mary, we're wondering if you might remember anything that you might have got to mention when Cynthia first met us.
Well, there is something I probably should have said a long time ago.
It's something that might help us find Cynthia's killer. Sure, she wants to know.
There was a guy that Cynthia was dating that
nobody knew about.
Why was it a secret?
He was married.
He's married, really. Now that's interesting.
I should have said something sooner. I didn't want to say anything in front of Cynthia's mom, and at that point, we were hoping she was still alive.
Mary, it's okay.
You gotta keep in mind, this was her really good friend, and so I understand why she didn't do it at that point.
So who is this guy?
His name's Steve Colton. She had a second job, and he worked with her there. Finding everything okay?
I think, but you had Cynthia and Steve Carlton met because he was working as a security guard.
According to Mary, he had told Cynthia that he was getting a divorce. Turned out that wasn't the case.
Cynthia, I'm sorry. I should have told you sooner.
Yeah, you should have, you lying piece of. Now I'm the one who looks like the bad guy. Maybe I should just call your wife and see how she feels about all of this.
You dare, Cynthia.
You.
Sometimes married men want to protect their wife from ever finding out. Murder is one way to do it.
So Steve still wants the same place.
Not that I know of. I haven't seen him in a while. I just know he was in the army.
We've been very helpful. Thank you for being honest with us.
After learning of Steve Carlton, investigators reach out to Fort Carson to see if he has shown up on their radar.
Active military have their own police called the CID, which stands for Criminal Investigation Division. They investigate criminal matters involving active duty military.
Sergeant Steve Carlton. Well, remember that name from? Says in '82, he put in a transfer to South Korea. Really? Now, what month was that? December.
That was shortly after Cynthia's murder. So our question was he trying to distance himself from this murder?
Well, it is. That's granted. No, it's denied due to poor performance on his part. He's been under investigation multiple times. What do you do? Sexual misconduct.
Turns out this guy is accused of making obscene phone calls to various women on the base. Further, there's been someone going into ladies' locker rooms on the post and stealing their underwear. And the military police believe it's this guy.
It's bizarre. Yeah, you could say that. We're going to speak to Mr. Carlton as soon as possible. I gotta make that out.
Mr. Carlton now emerges. Not only does he have a relationship with our victim, but now we have knowledge that he's potentially involved in sex crimes in the military. That adds up to suspect. So here we have a married man who is dating Cynthia McLuhan. He's currently under investigation for 2 minor sexual offenses. So let's go find Carlton and see what he has to say.
Sergeant Carlton, thanks for coming and talking to us.
What's this about? Cynthia McLuhan. Cynthia. Did you guys find the guy that killed her?
We were told you were having a relationship. Is that true?
Yeah, we did.
Mr. Carlton says they became friends. They began to socialize after work on a few occasions, and then they engaged in an extramarital affair.
We ended it a few weeks before she went missing.
Whose idea was that?
Why?
Cynthia upset about that?
I mean, we both knew what we were doing was wrong.
He says he finally decided to break it off because he was afraid his wife would find out.
You think I killed Cynthia?
We didn't say that. But you were having a secret relationship with her. And we were also made aware of some of the questionable things you did in the past. Like what? It's going appropriate acts over in Fort Carson. Oh, that's garbage. I didn't do any of that stuff.
He vehemently denies both of these crimes. I didn't do it. I never called anybody. I've never been in that locker room.
Look, I didn't kill Cynthia. I didn't have any reason to want to harm her. Once when I found out that she was murdered, I didn't know. She was a good person. I swear on my life, I didn't kill Cynthia.
Steve Carlton claimed he really cared for her, that he wouldn't have killed her. He seemed very believable.
All right, free to go. For now.
He is just somebody that we thought was interesting, and we've just lost him.
With yet another suspect out of the running, the investigation begins to lose steam.
Where are we now in this case? Why can't we find a legitimate suspect who has a relationship with our victim?
Same dead end we had 3 years ago.
Kenda wonders, perhaps he's been going about this the wrong way. Instead of focusing on the victim, what about the crime itself?
This case, think about it. Abduction from a parking lot, rape, extreme knife violence, the way he positioned the body. This all seems pretty peculiar.
Sexual criminals commit a crime in precisely the same way on every occasion. These are not isolated incidents. These people tend to commit and reoffend all the time. It's what they do. Their appetite increases for the behavior.
Kim, are you saying you think this is a serial killer? It's certainly a possibility. He's done this before, or at least for 3 years since. Let me ask you this. Have either of you been involved in a murder like this before? Because I sure have. Hey,
What if our guy doesn't have a relationship with her? What if our man is a transient? He is a tourist. He's here for a time and then he's gone again. And he is elsewhere doing the same thing. We've never considered it.
which means if we're going to catch this guy, we're going to need to start looking at similar cases outside of Colorado. Yep. All right, listen up.
Kenda and his team expand their search to a national scale.
So we put together a broadcast to all law enforcement agencies in the US. Describing our crime and asking for similar offenses or similar MOs by perpetrators in their jurisdiction. From huge department to tiny one. The national broadcast is out for a while. We're not getting much results.
Hey, Kenda, I think I've got something here.
But all of a sudden we do.
It's from Florida.
Lou Smith found a correspondence from a homicide detective in St. Petersburg, Florida, mentioning a James Lamar Rhodes.
The guy's 26 years old. Says here he's raped and attempted murder of 4 different girls with a knife. Both were suspected of 2 full-blown murders. Sound familiar?
Rhodes had abducted 4 young girls in 45 days. One of them sounded remarkably similar to Cynthia's.
In June of 1984, a 17-year-old girl who worked at an ice cream shop went outside into her shift.
Hey, you want to go for a jog?
This is a connecting cover: Spider-Boy 1 and Amazing Spider-Man 38.
The man then took her to a secluded place by some railroad tracks and proceeded to rape her and stab her repeatedly. James Rhodes left her for dead. But she did not die.
Somehow she survived and was able to identify Rose as a suspect when the physical evidence conflicted. Guess where the bastard was December 18th? Colorado Springs.
He was living in Colorado Springs for approximately 60 days during the time frame that the Cynthia McClellan case occurred.
So how do we find this guy?
This is a 1 in 25 ratio. David Marquez, near mint copy.
When somebody gives you a series of facts that are so good, that fit perfectly with what you're doing, you can feel it. This is him. There is no doubt in anyone's mind that James Lamar Rhodes is our target. We need to go to Florida and have him.
Well, the only way to get this ticket was to get a confession from him. Okay.
I selected Detective Smith because Smith had a gift. He was the most remarkable interrogator I have ever seen. It was almost as if Bruce Smith would walk into a field full of cows in 15 minutes and be offering him free milk.
All right. We need to learn as much as we can about him. Anderson, I want you to lead the research.
Last was it Craven's Last Hunt? No, I don't have that one.
You sits down with the suspect that you're armed with as much.
I had them, but they sold.
While Smith is en route to Florida, Kenda's team is preparing background info to pass on to him.
Can you hang on a second? So yeah, Anderson. This guy definitely had his issues. We pulled his psychological profile from the state of Florida. It seems he grew up in a dysfunctional family. I got that. Thanks.
James Rhodes suffered a great deal of trauma in his
All right.
watching his father beat his mother, he getting beaten up by his mother. It was a family full of turmoil, full of violence.
So apparently he had a pretty tumultuous relationship with his mother.
As James Rhodes reported, his mother is a brutal woman.
I'm warning you, get your ass over here.
She would hit him mercilessly and in fact encouraged him in many ways to embrace violence.
He seemed he could have harbored hate for women that may have come from his mother.
He was so filled with hate for his mother. He left home when he was 14, and he literally became a drifter.
It's like Smith's gonna have his hands full with this guy, I'd say.
The following day, Smith arrives at Florida's Cross City Correctional Center to speak with their number one suspect.
This is Smith's opportunity to work his magic, and he is magical.
Mr. Rhodes, I'd like to thank you for having this meeting with me. I'm Detective Smith.
I understand you want to talk about a case.
Well, actually, James, I really want to talk about you. You see, James, I'm curious as to how you ended up in Colorado a few years back.
No particular reason. Struggled to find work in Texas, so always loved the mountains. I headed over to Colorado Springs and found a job as a roofer.
I did a little carpentry myself. Yeah, I was not an expert, but this stuff around the house. I feel like a man, like I was really in control. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Smith knew how to establish rapport with Rhodes. In a very short period of time, they were chatting as if they were lifelong friends.
James, you probably saw a lot of different places when you were a little kid, right? Well, I bet that was hard having to always be responsible for yourself.
I'll have.
What do you mean?
You wouldn't believe some of the things I've done in the places I've been. Hell, I read a book about it. They would throw me in an electric chair.
All serial killers are narcissists. They like attention. And I think if it were possible, every psychopathic killer would probably write a book. Because they would then have a chance to brag about what they did.
And what would you write about during your stay up there in Colorado?
Look, I'll tell you, but I don't want them to
if I told you that? You would. The DA says he'll take the death penalty off the table.
All right. Tell you what happened.
Just show me.
Smith says, we're gonna transport you back to Colorado, and I want you to walk me through this. I want you to show me what you did.
All right. What the hell?
Not 24 hours later, Edna picks up Smith and Rhodes at the airport. They set out on their guided tour of murder.
When James Rhodes came back to Colorado, he wanted to show off. He was going to get one more thrill out of it and show how well he did what he did.
It was right here. I saw her leaving work. Something just came over me. You didn't know her? I've never seen her before.
She was scraping her windows on her car.
Hey,
And he walked up behind her.
Can I help you? Oh, no, I kind of, thanks. Come on, let me help you. No, it's fine.
He said he threw her.
Weird War Tales 64.
Now, Cynthia McMillan weighed 107 pounds. He could easily take physical control of her.
See, Weird War Tales. I got Weird Mystery Tales for. All right, so Weird War Tales, I only have
Secluded area.
78, 87, and 104. Not the issue you're trying to get.
Told her to get on the ground.
Get on the ground. I will do anything. Yeah.
He just roped her. He raped her.
Not a problem.
Then he said she tried to grab the knife and it infuriated him. He said my arm was just flying with that knife. He said, I normally don't stab people more than a few times. I don't know why I stabbed her so many. 25 times? God, that's really nuts, isn't it? That's James. He really is nuts. Just like you.
frankly, I think he was enjoying himself so much he couldn't stop. He saw Cynthia McLuhan as this object to play with, and it seems quite possible he continued his play with her by posing her.
He left her. He had her clothing in the car, and he thought he had to get rid of that. So he drove by this motel and dumps the clothing in the purse.
What'd you do with her bronchitis?
I don't remember.
I find that hard to believe.
He has a good memory, and yet he says he doesn't remember certain things, and that's nonsense. He does remember.
All right, let's go.
But for whatever reason, he doesn't want to say it.
The state of Colorado convicts James Rhodes of first-degree
Hey, Redad. Hey, our mayor. How are you? Welcome in.
prison, but he won't be serving that time just yet.
Florida has first dibs on this guy, so he goes back to Florida to serve 6 consecutive life terms. And if he survives that, he comes to Colorado to serve the other penalty.
Although he's only been convicted of attempted murder in Florida, James Rhodes is suspected of killing up to 10 other young women. However, none of those cases.
Thank you, Bag. I appreciate that.
The major misconceptions about serial killers is that they are crazy. They are not crazy. They are very disturbed. Their impulses seem to reign freely in a way that's more consistent with the wild animal than the human.
He was just a monster. How can somebody do the awful things that he did and leave a little girl without her?
Thank you again, Bag. Appreciate it.
And now grown, had 2 daughters, and my sister Cynthia was still.
Write it down. Hold on.
Static.
Sorry. So Bag got those 2 books.
Still heartbroken.
Bag 004.
Not here.
Thank you, sir.
On Cynthia, because that's usually the case. But the reality was that she, on
A husband and father tragically takes his own life.
Vincent still had a 22 caliber revolver in his hands.
Maybe he just had enough of the pain, you know?
But an unexpected confession reveals there's much more to the story.
No, this is not what I saw.
And it's up to Kenda and his team to uncover a cache of secrets and lies.
I knew that Charlie was having an affair.
She burns through that $10,000 just in a few months.
Is this something that could push some of your devs to commit murder?
What's up, Vamp Comics? Hey, Sir Pickle Tickle Jr.
Families appear a certain way to casual things. They were the nicest people. They were quiet, but you never ever know what goes on in a private home when the doors are closed. There's one thing that never changes. Murder. A life has been taken. Their stories are now my stories. I never know where a case is going.
Hey, seriously comical. Hey, Mod 305. Welcome in.
Somebody has to look out for the victim. If you kill, I will find you.
It's a busy summer night for Colorado Springs. EMTs Mark McDonald and Mark Reading are responding to a call at a residence in Palmer Park on the city's east side.
Once we got there at the PD, we're already on scene. And so our part of our job is to go in and actually assess the patient.
The patient, he's in the master bedroom. All right.
It's kind of surreal, to tell you the truth, because you're thrown immediately into this chaotic scene.
Up here, up here.
When we first walked into the room, there was a gentleman with an obvious gunshot wound. But it was pretty well obvious at that time that this gentleman was deceased.
Several miles away, Sergeant Joe Kenda is already waist deep in an unrelated investigation.
Suspect makes it.
No, not yet. But he had a bloody knife on him. I think it's a murder weapon.
It's after 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm at the scene of a homicide. Crime never sleeps. Crime never takes a day off. And everybody seems to like the cover of darkness.
It one's on the way. Dispatch.
We have a report of a shooting near Palmer Park. First responders are saying they believe it's self-inflicted.
The initial report was this is probably a suicide, and I decided to remain at my current crime scene and send one of my detectives and report back.
Within the hour, Kenda has dispatched one of his detectives to the residence near Palmer Park.
Good evening, Detective.
Hey, what do we got here?
39-year-old male, single gunshot wound in the head. Appears to be self-inflicted.
They had identified an individual named Charlie Tuttle, who actually worked for the city of Colorado Springs on the electric division.
Before I met Charlie, he was self-employed in the Air Force and he worked in electronics, repairing and calibrating flight simulators. He was always perceived as a very honest and trustworthy person. It's like a wife.
stepdaughter and her neighbor discovered the bed. We cut the neighbors loose. He didn't know anything.
Where's the body?
Upstairs in the bedroom.
Either way.
In the master bedroom, Mr. Tuttle was laying face down on the bed.
Family fun like this.
Yes, sir.
On initial examination of the scene, detectives noted that in fact, the victim still had a 22 caliber in his hands.
And there was a single entry gunshot wound to the back of the head, and there is no accident.
Not a way to shoot yourself.
Most gun suicides, the person is sitting erect and the gun is fired into the temple. It's extremely uncommon to see someone lie on their stomachs and shoot themselves in the back of the head.
You want to touch that shotgun?
No, it was positioned there when we arrived.
And this particular shotgun had string wrapped around the trigger.
Now that is indicative of someone trying to rig a weapon so they can cause it to discharge by aiming at the film. He rigs this gun and then apparently changes his mind.
Hey Yodelay, hey Coop Comics, what's up, Pizza Baba? What's up? What's up?
And decides to use a handgun instead.
As investigators examine the rest of the bedroom, the evidence continues to line up with that theory.
Looks like somebody kicked the door.
It's the only entry in the front. There's a shoe print on the door next to the door handle assembly. Witnesses claim that they broke the door after they heard the gunshot.
We have an individual who was depressed and actually locked himself in the bedroom, climbed in the bed and shot himself. That's a pretty good possibility at this point.
To confirm that possibility, investigators need to see if witnesses' stories lead to the same conclusion.
Well, let's go talk to the family. If he killed himself, maybe they can help why.
They then speak to the wife of the victim, whose name is Jackie Tuttle. She's 42 years of age.
Mrs. Tuttle, I'm so sorry for your loss. You mind answering a few questions?
Jackie is kind of quiet, soft-spoken. She worked for a real estate company and she had been married to Charles for about 14 years. He was actually her second husband.
You, Charlie, have any kids together?
No. I have two girls children from their first marriage. My older daughter Jennifer, she lives back in Texas with her father. And Sarah, she lived there with us and she was there to me.
She says the evening progressed in a normal manner, except for the fact that Charlie was drinking heavily during dinner.
How much alcohol did Charlie consume?
Oh, like 10 beers and some whiskey.
Jackie reports to the officers that her husband seemed to be very distressed after dinner and continued to drink and said he was going to bed.
So around midnight, Sarah and I went down and put a movie downstairs. So we heard the gunshot. I'm sorry. I can't breathe. I can't.
Okay.
And that's when she became so distressed and she could not continue conversing with the officers because of her emotional state.
Hoping to learn why Charlie was distressed, investigators turned to Jackie's daughter, 19-year-old Sarah Reynolds.
Sarah,
Answer your questions.
They asked her to describe the events of the evening, separate from her mother, who told precisely the same story.
So after dinner, Charlie went to bed. And Mom and I watched a movie in the living room.
And it was about 1:30 when she heard a loud bang.
What was that? We went upstairs, but the door was locked. We tried to force the door to open, but it wouldn't budge.
And her mother said, "Go get the neighbor, he can help us." And she did that.
The neighbor came over and kicked the door in, and that's when we found him on the bed.
I know this is difficult, Sarah, but can you think of any reason that Charlie may have wanted to end his life?
Yeah. He was just so different since the accident.
About a year earlier, he'd been in a very serious car accident.
Come here, honey. Come here, let me help you. Please, just get the away.
He was struck from behind by another car. It injured Charlie's neck and caused him pain in his neck and upper back.
His personality changed after that. He was so down about everything. Constantly called out of work.
He became more depressed, he drank more. Now, all of that put together certainly sounds like someone who may be with the end of their days.
After dinner, he was complaining that his neck hurt. Maybe he just had enough of the pain. You know?
Yeah. Once again, I am truly sorry for your loss.
Hours later, Sergeant Kenda requests a status report on Charlie Tuttle's case.
We found it odd that he shot himself in the back of the head, but all of the evidence that we found at the scene is consistent with suicide. So what's the coroner think? Here's the report.
By law, the coroner determines the method of death and the manner.
Okay, thank you.
The coroner's office is fully informed of the details about Charlie's recent history and his motor vehicle accident and his depression. And the coroner rules it as a suicide and the matter is closed. Before everyone thought.
6 months later, an unexpected visitor shows up at CSPD.
Sarah Reynolds, hi, have a seat. Someone wounded just now.
Thank you.
When someone comes into police headquarters and asks to speak to someone in homicide, they are directed to a supervisor, which in that case was me.
I am Sergeant Kenda. That's for something accountable. She had a pretty forlorn look on her face and was somewhat quiet.
The body language suggests that maybe she just wants to leave and is sorry she came in here.
It's all right. Tell us about that.
Well, my stepfather, Charlie Tuttle, he died 6 months ago in our house.
Okay. And she looked at me and she said, "Well, I told a story to the policeman about how my stepdad killed himself."
But I was lying.
Oh my. Well, this is getting interesting. A 39-year-old man named Charlie Tuttle is believed to have shot himself in the privacy of his locked bedroom. Now it's 6 months later, and a young lady has come forward to say she lied, that none of what she said to the police was true.
Okay, why don't you start from the beginning?
So the night he died, I helped my mom make dinner.
Can you buy me the parsley?
What's all this?
Something special for Charlie.
Jackie had actually picked up a bottle of Crown Royal whiskey, some cigars, and a fishing magazine.
Wow.
Right?
And Sarah thought that was kind of unusual because
Jackie and Charlie had been arguing quite a bit lately.
And she suspected the marriage was coming to an end.
I thought it was her way of showing him she still loved him and wanted to make things work. And then when Charlie came home, he was in such a good mood.
Oh, wow. It's not my birthday.
No?
Oh, are you making your famous meatballs? She said he was quite surprised and happy to see them fixing a nice meal for dinner.
And when we sat down to dinner, Mom and Charlie were reminiscing about old times.
This looks great.
Oh,
No, I think it's fine.
I thought the horseradish went bad. He didn't care for the shrimp cocktail, but he certainly ate everything else and drank his beer as he normally did. Could you pass me that garlic bread, please?
We had a really nice evening. And then Mom wanted to watch a movie, but Charlie said he's going to bed to read his fishing mag.
you remember what time that was?
No, I just remember the movie started and I must have totally passed out.
And that struck me. I passed out. Why did you pass out? Were you drinking?
No, I just remember feeling so tired all of a sudden. I couldn't keep my eyes open. And then I woke up around 1:30.
The house was quiet. The movie was on pause.
Her mother, Jackie, wasn't there, and so she's sitting there on the couch. She heard this loud boom upstairs.
Mom?
Her mother was holding a green bath towel, and protruding from the bath towel is a gun.
Honey, I need you to stay calm, okay?
But what did you do?
Honey, I did it first. I'm good.
According to Sarah, she says, you know that Charlie's been in a lot of pain, and if anybody asked to, he did it to himself.
Now, I need you to take this towel and put it in the basement.
And she puts the gun on the bed next to Charlie's hand, and then walks out and locks the door behind them and says, now go get the neighbor to force the door open. So I listened to Sarah's story. I said, well, Sarah, I must ask you the obvious question. All right, but this was 6 months ago. Why you just bring it to us now?
Because I was scared. My mom threatened to kill me if I said anything.
But she told him that I'm coming in to tell the truth because I have so much guilt.
I can't sleep. I have nightmares about it.
Do you have any idea my mother want to kill Charlie?
Yeah, she's greedy.
She said he had a $49,000 insurance policy, and she wanted that money.
And she got it too.
Perhaps in her mother's mind, she had 49,000 reasons to kill Charlie.
So you're going to reopen his case?
Definitely gonna keep in touch. Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
You must take people seriously when they tell you the story. Do you trust what they say? Of course not. Let's explore the story. So my first step was to go to the coroner's office. I informed the coroner of the new development, and the coroner agrees to review the report.
So I looked over all the reports again. This is extremely unusual. Indeed. So what do you think? Well, I did notice one thing. The witnesses claimed that Mr. Tuttle had been drinking heavily, but that's not what we're seeing in his toxicology results.
The blood alcohol content of Charlie was 0.01. That is not even legally impaired, let alone drunk.
It is strange. We'll have to look through everything. Are you still confident it's suicide? You know, there's nothing in the report that contradicts suicide, but it is odd that he shot himself in the back of the home. That's very I vaguely remember there was something else I found fishy.
but that was like 40 autopsies ago. I don't remember. I'll read through my notes again and see if I can figure out what it is. I appreciate it. Thanks.
With the coroner's report inconclusive, Kenda's gut tells him to keep digging.
Mr. Ware, Sergeant Kennedy. Thanks for meeting me. Glad to help however I can.
So Joe took an unusual step. That was to contact the funeral director who embalmed Laurie and Charlie.
I said, well, in my experience, I've seen over 100 gunshot wounds to the head from people who kill themselves. Except that just wasn't quite like that. I actually remember it quite well. Let's see what we got here. What was the cause of death?
Suicide, gunshot to the back of the head.
Really? If you put a gun to your head, it is extremely difficult to get a 90-degree contact. You're up, you're down, you're this way, that way, left and right. The result is the entrance wound itself is not round. It's shaped differently. When I looked at the hole on the inside of the skull, it was much larger, but still symmetrical. Most of the time, you don't get a perfect 90-degree angle.
He said, at that point in time, I was suspicious that this was in fact not a suicide, but he went on with the involvement anyway.
There's not much that surprises me in this business, but this one did. Well, thank you. You've been very helpful. So this evidence is adding up nicely to murder and not suicide. And with that, we decided to reopen the case.
Kenda and his team start by tracking down Charlie Tuttle's widow at her new home.
So we want to go see Jackie now because I've got a lot more information other than this Sarah's allegation. I know the physical evidence says that Charlie had church.
Do you guys take anything in your pocket?
I just black. I wouldn't mind some sugar if that's okay.
Sure.
First thing we noticed, they're very smart. Got a lot of furniture, very neat, very clean.
Well, the family doing
Pictures of her husband, almost sterile, if you will.
It is very odd to have a personal home.
On
Of your family. There's something.
no second charge. There was no. It was just for those 2 books.
Sarah's talking about this.
She did? Why?
We tell her your daughter.
Yeah, it's
You killed your own.
yeah, it's the shipping. You're talking about the shipping?
It's an absolute lie.
No, Mrs. Tuttle, why would your daughter make up a story?
You're talking about the shipping or the book?
She wants
And we looked at her, I think she, what do you mean by more money? So we're investigating this suicide of Charlie Tuttle, which has now become a homicide based on physical evidence and based on the fact that the daughter accuses the mother of having committed this murder.
And Jackie tells Joe, oh, she's lying. She only wants more money. Well, more money, what does that mean?
I guess the trouble started with Sarah when Charlie passed away.
She said there was a life insurance policy that was worth $49,000. I received the $49,000. I felt guilty about having all that money. And Sarah, who was
All right, guys, I gotta go. So if there's anyone in here who wants to make a deal, now's the time. I'm about to head out the door. I gotta go do some stuff right now, like that I have to go do.
The kind of kid where
So,
she'd never really had to.
all right.
Living.
You know, I guess my daughter's a bit of a sponge.
So what's all this?
King size X-Men. Oh, okay. King size X-Men. Talking about this one. Throw me an offer. Let me check. Hold on. It's a fine minus. You got it. It's up there. Gary 7, thank you so much. Is there anything else I could help you with, buddy? '88 and '89. Do I have that? Those are reprints. 88 and 89. No, don't have them. Yeah, those reprints, they're kind of pricey. I tend to have a hard time getting them. In the 70s, I'm pretty low on X-Men books. The closest I've got is the Hulk one, which is issue 66. That's the closest number I have to that part of the run. And then I do have a 107. I do have a 109 also, but it's a low grade. But I mean it's 109 still nonetheless. But yeah, I'll be on later. I'm gonna get back here about 11:30. So okay. Yeah, the only ones I have below are 31, 48, 54, 58, and 66. Okay, cool, man. I'm just gonna make more shows, and yeah, we'll do some deals. We'll definitely do some deals. But thank you very much. I appreciate you. Cool. Okay. All right, guys. I'll see you later. Have a good one. Happy Friday.